Your hometown station real estate and financial guides are back on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, to share with you what you need to know in order to navigate the sometimes confusing markets and guide you toward financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
Well, we'd love you to reach out to us anytime at 855-DON-GINO, 855-DON-GINO, and happy holidays to you. You are now in the fourth quarter of the end of our show, and I'm sure this fourth quarter will be a lot better than the Saints last night. Oh. Wow. Monday night didn't go so well for Shannon's Saints. Sorry, Shannon. Oh, I'm surprised she didn't shut off our show right now.
Well, but you know what? Shannon's been able to gloat all year long. They've been doing a great job. They've had a great year. They have their coach back. So, you know what? Not bad. It's one bad game. They're going to shrug it off, even though I heard they had some...
Hey, I had Breeze on my team. I like it. It was good. They'll come back, Shannon. We just had to give you a little jab. That's our show producer. Thank you, Shannon.
They'll be back. They'll be win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so before we close this out, let's make sure we talk a little bit. We're talking about two things we need to close out here, and we're with Mike Kessler with Realty Executive and Steve Korn with Newhall Escrow. I want to talk about the difference. We talk a lot with some of our guests about their teams and how their teams are there to help. But there's two angles to look at that, isn't there, Mike? Because you basically are tied in tight with your clients because it's you and basically your subcontractors like Newhall Escrow. That's the way I like to look at it. You can choose who you work with on the pieces of the pie that help support your business.
Right. And actually, when you're dealing with an agent and you're going to go with one person, you have far more accountability for that one person. So let's just say that what's the one thing that people want when they're buying and selling a home? They want to be able to call somebody and have that person answer the phone right then.
Wait a minute, communication?
Communication's number one, right?
Yeah.
But not only that, it goes deeper than just the agent. When I call escrow, I want somebody to answer the phone. And I want to get an answer right away, and I want to get off of it right away so that I can get that answer to my clients right away. I don't want to be calling and waiting for 5 o'clock to roll around, so hopefully somebody will call me back and tell me, oh, yeah, that's a tax. That's something you got to pay for. That's something, you want to know right away. I even tell my clients, when you're working with me, I have the phone on. If you call me at 10:30 at night, I want you to call me because I don't want you to go all night not being able to sleep because you're worried about something. So call me at any time. I'm going to have that phone on. I'm waiting for your call. You call me at 11 o'clock and, I don't know what I'm going to do about this issue here. One of the issues, I've got 2 dogs. I need to be able to take them. They're like my family to me. How do I go from point A to point B? What do I do? Call me so I can help answer that for you so you can get good night's sleep, feel good about the transaction, and keep going from there. Nothing worse than spending all night, worrying about something. But at the same token, somebody wants to know about taxes. They want to know, hey, is this a Melrose? Did we have a hidden tax in here? A private transfer fee? That's what I like to do is be able to call my escrow officer and say, we're looking at this tax. Is there a tax on this particular property? They can give me that answer right away. I can get that information right back to my seller or my buyer immediately. That's what they want to know. They want to have that instant communication. It's got to be fast. Right now, everybody's got these smartphones, and they can pick up stuff right away, and they want it right away so they can make wise decisions on where to go and what to do.
I like you talking to us about being proactive, and I love that because I know Steve Korn with Newhall Escrow, and I know our team. You're talking about stuff like that, information that a client really should know up front before they go and close the escrow and find out the end, such as, is there Melrose on that? What's my real tax amount? Because it could make a difference of hundreds of dollars per month. I mean, we're talking $100 to $500 a month. We've seen at least.
For sure.
And if you work with the right team and people that care and are accountable, they'll look for this information for you so you don't find out when it's too late.
Then you go right back to having the right lender. You go into find a lender and they said, yes, you're approved. And then all of a sudden it's time to remove those contingencies and they say, oh, we checked your debt ratio. And with that Melrose or with that HOA, gosh, you can't get this home.
I love you bringing that up, right, Gino?
Yeah, wow. Well, we're one of the, I think we're probably the only lender I know of that asks for an NHD as soon as it's available. Immediately. Right. I want to see it because, like we were talking about during the commercial section of the show an hour ago, we not only have to evaluate the borrower, we also have to evaluate the property. And that's where the communication with an agent like Mike comes in, which says, before he writes the offer, says, hey, I got this property. We're going to write an offer on it. I said, well, they're qualified for ultimately, everybody talks about being qualified for 300,000 or 400,000. That's not really what you're qualified for. You're qualified for a total monthly expenditure. However we get to that number, whether it's lower insurance, higher Mello-Roos, lower interest rate, affects your principal and interest, but you're qualified for that total monthly expenditure. So it's important that we evaluate that total monthly expenditure and not just a purchase price.
Right. Yeah, you definitely have to make sure you're good to go on everything. And there's nothing like finding out at the very last minute that you're not good for it. Here's the thing, when you get down to that removing contingencies, which is where the seller wants you to take that, that additional, here, I'm going to write this to you, saying everything's good and we're ready to proceed and go forward. You have to be able to do that. And if you can't do that, then it definitely puts a strain on the entire transaction. So, going back to the teams and everything, I really think that's what, puts everything together. I think it's really important also, working with one man. I'm just one agent. I don't have a big team. I don't have a bunch of guys working for me. I don't have 5 or 6, people. One person puts a sign out. One person puts the key box up. One person does all the advertising. I do everything.
And this is by choice. Let me clarify, because some people go, well, maybe you're just not busy, but no, but it's by choice. You're a very busy man, but you choose to hold the cards tight to you because it's about your relationships.
It is, and actually, rather than having a number to everybody, I actually have a face, I have a person, I have their I'm sensitive to their needs. So every family's going to be a little different. We have some people that are executives, they don't really care about the exterior of the home as much as they care about the interior, where they're going to be living for that hour or two that they're awake before they go right back and hit it at work, and they go back to work and go at it. So they are looking for the interior, where some other people are saying, I spend all my time after work in the backyard, relaxing with the barbecue.
If you go to donandgino.com, you'll just see Don just raise his hand.
Yes.
Always in his backyard. And every nice backyard
night.
It is.
Every night. My wife and I are chilling back there. You guys have spent a lot of time out there, huh, Stevie?
Absolutely. Going to Mike's point about the team, and I'm not going to speak self-serving, but I'm saying, looking at the successful models that are practicing real estate in our Santa Cruz Valley, the common denominator to each one of those is each of those realtors has a team of professionals that the realtor knows they can count on to do their job and not have to second guess them or follow up on them, so forth and so on. And that's not easy to find. That's as sad as it is to say. There's a lot of people that do what I do for a living that don't think forwardly enough to have all the material that you guys need to evaluate the NHD, the tax rate, to get the HOA docs, to get the information on that, as soon as possible in transaction. They just work because it's a job. A lot of us work from a place where we innovate the industry. We look at what we can do to make it better, and that's what I think makes a difference between just doing the job and really knocking it out of the park. So I just want you listeners to understand that. I'm not saying anything that anybody doesn't already know, but when you hear it from this context, you got to understand that not everybody's created equally. And in a market where everything is flying off the shelf, you stick a sign on the ground, get a phone number on it, you can sell the house. But when you get in a market that requires some skill, and requires the expertise of everybody involved to do their job and do it well, better than well, then that's what you got to count on.
Great insight, Steve.
Yeah, ultimately what it is there's a lot of ways to get to the finish line, but the best way is with less stress. If you work with professionals, you're going to have less stress.
That's why we have Steve Corn with Newhall Escrow and Mike Kessler with Real Executives here in the vault at the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. Okay, just got about a minute or so left. Clarify whether you think it's a good time for a buyer or seller right now.
It's a great time for both.
I agree.
It's a great time for both. You're going to find out that there's homes out there. The pricing is right. Right now, the pricing is right. If you wait until January, you may lose out on that pricing. I think that you've really got to jump on it if you can right now. Get out there and seriously look at some of these homes and see if there's something you really like. Otherwise, if you're a seller, it's a great time too, because right now you can get you're getting the most out of your bang for your buck, because if the interest rates do go up, you're really going to lose on that pricing. That price will probably come down for the affordability. You know that better than I do.
Right.
People
interest rates go up, they can lose affordability, meaning how much home they can purchase.
Exactly, and then prices start to drop. So right now is it's a pocket of time, which I think a lot of people need to take advantage of.
All right, so they need to speak obviously with a professional, and one that's very confident in his negotiation skills and his communication skills, as well as knowing your needs, how do they get a hold of Mr. Mike Kessler?
Who is that? All you gotta do is give me a call. I'm always on the phone, so you call me at on my number. Am I allowed to give my number?
Yes, sir. Throw it out there.
661-433-6737. And if you just want to get a shock, just call me and I'll say hi.
So 433.
433-6737.
Okay, it's all good unless you're under witness protection. You're all good. All right, thanks for being here, Mr. Mike Kessler with Real Executive. It's great having you here today, buddy.
Thank you so much.
And Steve Korn, always good to have our third co-host and Mr. Steve Korn of Newhall Escrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Got to throw a shout out to Miss Shannon Fosnoff for being our great producer and helping us put together a great show. And of course, AP Production, Mr. Furman back there, putting together a video, because you can see all this great information live on donandgino.com, or click on donandgino.com to find out all of our great information for our past shows. We enjoy you being here every Thursday. Happy holidays. We'll see you next week.